Talkers. Here at Veteran Trash Talk, we actually vet our sponsors. We don't just take their money and run like a butter bar lieutenant lost on the land nav course. Are you finally ready to plant your flag and claim your territory? Maybe it's time to use that VA loan to buy a home. Or hell, maybe you're looking to refinance and put some extra cash in your pocket for more questionable life decisions. Either way, the Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage, has your six. Look, buying a home or refinancing can feel like getting overrun on a bad op. Chaotic, confusing, and full of obstacles that make no damn sense. That's where Corey and his team come in. They're like the QRF of home loans, ready to pull you out of the chaos and guide you to the best program for you. And trust me, they'll answer all your questions. Yeah, even the dumb ones. Whether you're a salty vet or fresh out of barracks still trying to figure out where your TA-50 went. Great service, solid rates, and a team that actually understands the military life. That's why all of us here at Veteran Trash Talk trust them to do right by every veteran in their family. Ready to lock it in? Give Corey a call or shoot him a text at 808-699-7874. That's 808-699-7874. Don't wait. Unless you like overpaying and getting treated like an FNG. The Veterans Mortgage Source is powered by Canopy Mortgage, LLC. All loans are subject to credit and property approval.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. As you can see, you can't see, but I am back in Italy. Flew back in yesterday, so I'm a little jet lagged. Lynn's a little busy right now. She'll pop on this show when she can. I want to say a super shout out to Lisa, and we'll get to her here in a second for coming on the podcast. And she's got not only an amazing story about her military career, but also what she's done since leaving the military, and also hers to be in service to the nation as well. Before that, but let's jump right into it. As you see the QR code up there for Wreaths Across America, and it's super great what they do in memorializing the veterans during the holiday season. You can scan that QR code for as little as $10, $15. You can ensure that a wreath is placed on that tombstone during the holiday season. But along with that, a lot of people don't know this, you can personalize that also. And so you can add a name in there. And if you want to remember a loved one or a family member, you can absolutely do that. Along with that, as you may or may not know, Wreaths Across America Radio replays my podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, and the Audacy app, and search for Wreaths Across America Radio for not only this great podcast, but all the great podcasts and programming they have going on. And they really expanded. They have a lot more radio stations now up and down the East Coast, and super happy to see that. Of course, I flew in yesterday from Italy. I took a nap, and then I woke up at midnight, was up till 5 a.m., and as I was trying to get a little rest, I went ahead and relaxed with a little bit of bourbon from 10th Mountain. And so I had a nice little, actually I had 2 bourbon drinks to kind of get myself relaxed after being a little jet lagged. And so, you know what? I always say this, give them a try. We'll throw the website out there. We'll throw a little code out there. But if you have not tried their bourbon is absolutely amazing. I was a Scotch drinker for many, many years. I still drink Scotch, but every now and then I do like the good 10th Mountain bourbon. So, hey, give them a shout out, give them a look at, and they'll let you know if they can mail to your state or not. But you won't be disappointed. I guarantee that. As you saw in the video before, Veterans Mortgage, powered by Canopy Mortgage. You can scan that QR code. Interest rates are coming down. It might be a good time to refinance your house. Might be a good time to maybe buy a house. Maybe you want to do some projects or whatever. Or maybe you just have questions about your existing VA loan. Hey, give them scan that QR code and give them a shout out, and they'll be more than happy to help you. As I stated earlier, I had a lot of people here in Italy, Naples, Italy, where I live. were supposed to be going to Germany for their PCS move for the Navy, but the Navy decided to send them to Hawaii. And I actually gave them the PCS to Paradise QR code, and they were able to use them and find their home while they were there in Hawaii. So if you're PCSing in Hawaii and you need some help finding your dream home, and hey, you know what? While you're there for the 3 years, live it up. Enjoy it. Get a house on the beach, pay a little bit extra money. Your kids will like it. Why not? You only live once. And scan that QR code, and they'll be more than happy to jump into that. Lisa, normally this time I would turn it over to Lynn and let her give us an update. But so we're just going to jump right into you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience out there? And, real quick, so everybody knows while Lisa's talking, you're going to see me look down from time to time. I'm not ignoring her. I'm not playing Candy Crush or Clash of Clans or Angry Birds on my phone. I'm actually responding to social media. We do go live across many platforms. And tonight I'm actually going live for the first time on my Rumble account. And so I'll be, and you'll see the chats pop up there on the left. But a big shout out to VTT's Big Earl for tuning in. And Chris, thanks for signing in also. If you got any questions or comments, throw them up there. We'd be more than happy to answer them. And Lynn will probably pop in at some point. But if not, Lisa, you're my co-host tonight. So, hey, how you been doing and what's going on in your world?
I've been doing awesome. How have you been doing other than traveling all over the place and jet lag and drinking some bourbon?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in Germany in Kaiserslautern. I did a week's worth of speaking events there. As you all know, I'm an inspirational speaker based on, I tried to unalive myself. I'm not on TikTok today. I tried to complete suicide. And then I was down at Tampa at SOCOM doing speaking events down there. And then I went back up to Virginia to visit my son who's in college there. And then I flew back to Italy. So, it's always good to have that time to, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. October is. Last month was Suicide Awareness Month. So, it's very important. It's a hard subject to talk about, but it's an important subject to talk about. But enough about me. Let's talk about Lisa.
Okay, sounds good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Gollin. I am retired Navy chief. I did about 22 years. I had an opportunity to meet some great people, travel, do some innovative things. I worked a lot in aviation. I did sea duty. I deployed a lot. Both my kids actually joined the military once I retired. When they grew up, they wanted to go be like mom, except they joined the Army. Wrong branch.
Well, I spent 34 years in the Army, so bravo to them for joining the Army.
Sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that. So no, one team, one fight. Honestly, just jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
but VTT Big Girls wouldn't know if he was on a submarine.
Oh no. It was before my time. Actually, they just started putting women on subs, and that was my time to exit gracefully. I would have enjoyed that opportunity. I think I could have handled it pretty sure. No, not so much. I don't think so.
No,
I'm
I
talking
had a good
smack.
friend of mine. His dad retired out of the Navy as a submariner, and I just those are special kind of people. They really are. I mean, God bless them for doing that, but I don't think I could do that.
It's too depressing. I mean, where's the sunshine? Where's Hawaii? Where's anything? Sea duty was good enough for me. I stayed above the sea level, not below it. So
Right.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Did you serve on the ship while you were in the Navy?
I did. I was that was my first tour. I was one of the first 12 women to get on board a combatant. So my first duty station was out of Norfolk, and it was the USS Bowen. I had a great crew of 12 females, and we had a good time. I mean, it was a lot to learn. It was a huge adjustment coming from a very conservative background in New York City. Didn't really get out much. So, welcome world, welcome ship life, welcome Navy life. So it was a lot, but it was very rewarding, very fulfilling.
And you retired as Chief Petty Officer?
I
for
did.
the non Navy people out there, what rank is that?
E7.
E7. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
We were talking before the show, and of course, she found out that my wife's a captain in the Navy. Because she informed me this morning as she was walking out of the house that I had to get up and take my son to the dentist. And I said, "Yes, Captain."
and you saluted. And you saluted. I like it.
That's right.
I like it.
Laying in the bed at attention, I saluted. Yes, ma'am.
Well trained. That's
right. But you had a very good military career. You got out after 22 years, and then you went into Silver Service. Is that correct?
I did. After I retired, I became a government contractor and I worked for Navy Expeditionary Combat Command out of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we established a recovery care program for our injured sailors. And it was life changing. It was something. We created a team. We started this program from the ground up. We worked with Wounded Warrior Program, and we brought it online. And we learned so much there. And mental health, of course, was a big part of the transition for our young sailors that got hurt in combat, couldn't make it through their career, didn't, just kind of it ended. So we transitioned them. We worked with them to get their benefits and their mental health and all the other resources that go hand in hand with that transition out, especially that sudden transition. It wasn't they planned a retirement or anything. So that was very fulfilling in itself, just doing that part. And I would love to continue to do something like that. And then I went on to do federal service, NAVSEA, inactive ships. We decommed ships, went out there, blew up a couple of ships out of Hawaii. Pretty cool tour, very awesome. Enjoyed it. And then I went on to work at the National Cemetery out of West Palm. And you had mentioned Wreaths Across America. I really think it's so important that we don't forget, never forget,
Yeah.
So it's important to kind of support that Wreaths Across America. They do an amazing job. I was out there. The families just feel so loved and appreciated and not forgotten. That's really important to them. So I did all that. And then I came to Jacksonville, did Department of Labor. And I decided to go ahead and transition from there and start our own business because I felt something was missing.
Yeah.
I no longer worked with military, with veterans. I felt like there was more to offer. And I had the know-how. My husband is amazing. He was a GC for 30 plus years. So we went in with a different mindset. We're a handyman service, but we cater mostly towards the veteran community. And what we're trying to do is make their homes safer for them by providing, helping them with installing grab bars, transitioning their bathrooms, so their walk-in bathrooms, doing ramps, things of that nature. So we have teamed up with some really great nonprofits here locally, and we don't just do the repairs and the day-to-day stuff. We're also trying to connect our veterans with all the resources out there. A lot of our veterans don't even know they have HISA program. The VA provides that bathrooms. Don't know to apply for it. Sitting there with this bathroom into because your mobility issues and you don't have the funds for it. So we're trying to educate our veterans, teach them to find resources, try to become a kind of like a one-stop shop for them. Here's how you can fund this project. Here's what we can do to help you. Here's some resources. Here's some services. There's a lot of veterans out there that's PTSD. They they don't want to be stigmatized. They don't want to go to the VA because they're afraid of how they'll be treated. There's so many other organizations within the community that's ready and willing to help our veterans, but unfortunately, they don't know these things. So we're trying to get that information out there. We're trying to, make it comfortable for them and building a trust within the community so they don't think we're just kind of shuffling them along the way as well. We've come across a lot of our Vietnam vets. They're the ones that had the worst transition. They feel so isolated. I'm working with one right now, and he just lost his spouse. He's had severe PTSD. Sleep is terrible, 3 hours max a night, and he still puts a smile on when I come over. He still tries his best, but I know inside he's falling apart literally. But you don't see that because he puts a smile on and he's dressed and he's taking care of his home as best as he could, but he needs help. He needs we need resources out there to help these guys. They've just been through a lot, and
Well, especially with the Vietnam, veterans that
yeah.
are getting up there in age, and a lot of them are, they don't have family because of their addiction problems when they came out of, Vietnam,
Hmm.
and they've been isolated, and now their buddies are passing away, and we're really seeing a
Yes.
spike in suicides with the, Vietnam veterans, and I think a lot of it has to do with what you're saying with depression and the feelingness of loneliness and helplessness. But one good thing about social media for a lot of them, if they do have access to Facebook or whatever, a lot of them do join Veterans Trash Talk Facebook page, or they find their little tribe there,
Hmm.
to get out and visit. And with your company, I did share the website out there, so guys, you give it a click on it for LG2 services. But are you in the Jacksonville area? Is that where you're at?
Yes, we are in Jacksonville.
Nice.
Yes.
And so, it's really nice to what you were talking about with PTSD, because, when somebody has post traumatic stress syndrome, a lot of things can just kind of go by the way, right? You kind of get into
Hmm.
your own mind. I talk about this because being a suicide survivor and having PTSD and a TBI and all those things, you go through like you're going through life, but you're not going through life when it gets really
Hmm.
bad. And, just having a little bit of change, like you were talking about, of somebody coming over to visit, maybe you're fixing something in their house, can really kind of help get them out of that mindset. And it's so very important.
I agree. I mean, I think he calls me over just to, I think, have a cup of coffee and go over some paperwork. He gets overwhelmed with the VA and forms, but I think he just wants companionship. And his daughter is up north. He's got a son locally, but they're working and they're busy. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just, it takes nothing out of my day to just go over there for a little bit and just talk with him and tell him everything's going to be okay. We have a plan and we're going to execute the plan like we did in the military, and we're
Yeah.
going to take care of you. And and we're not going to stop there. We're not going to, you're not just a one and done. You're family now.
Yeah.
So we want to bring him into our fold and just help him out. And there's so many. I mean, the line is out the door. You cannot help everyone, but we're going to try our best.
Yeah.
And I just want to do a quick shout out to another organization. They're a
Sure. Go ahead.
nonprofit,
Yeah.
Operation Lifeline. If you guys have not heard of them, please check them out. They're also here locally in Jacksonville.
It was
Um,
Operation Lifeline.
Yes, and the team, it's a whole three of them, and they're out there doing some really big projects. They're building homes for homeless veterans. They're making things happen in a short period of time. They've only been in business for about 3 years, and it's ran by a retired lieutenant colonel. And Eric Sachs is his name, and just amazing story those guys have, and we are partnering with them to try to get some of these buildings set up, some jobs done, so that we can get people to live in a home that is safe, that they feel proud of, that they can come home and say, "This is my home." So they're doing amazing things. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them and to Builders Care. They're also another nonprofit here. They're doing really amazing things. So we do have some resources out there. But again, a lot of people don't know what's going on, so they can't reach out and ask for help either. So I just want to make sure that people know that there are good people out there fighting the fight for us, fighting that fight for a fellow veteran. And you're not lost, you're not forgotten, and we are out there and we want to help. So just keep that positive attitude, and we'll get to y'all. I promise. We'll do our best.
Well, that's really great that you gave the shout out, and I posted Operation Lifeline. And what was the other one you said? I didn't.
Builders Care.
Oh,
Um,
Builders Care.
yes, they're the nonprofit side to North Florida Builders Association,
Oh,
Northeast Florida Builders Association.
okay, so I threw that out there. So Builders Care. So please take the time to check them out. It is very important. I remember, of course, we lived in Virginia before we came here to Naples,
Hmm.
Italy. We have a house there in Manassas, and you know. people throughout their lives can have problems. They don't necessarily have to be in the military. They can have addiction problems, no matter. And I remember my neighbor who lived across the street, Marcus. Now he is a veteran, but his brother was living with him. His brother used to be a very good professional boxer, welterweight, but he's got a drinking problem. And he came over to my house. I'd met him once before, and he said, "Hey, there's no, he was starting to have withdrawals."
Right.
And he says, I don't want to drive to go get alcohol. Do you have some drink? And I had some little nips or something. So I just sat on the porch with him, and we just talked, and he had his drink, as you're an alcoholic, you could die from not having it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just sat there for about 2 hours and just had a really nice conversation. He told me about his professional career and how all that went. And I just, like you said, you just take the time to talk with him. And I don't know if it was my conversation I had with him or a subscription of other conversations I had with him. He wind up eventually slowing down and eventually stopped drinking after a period of time, got help for that,
Thank
and kind
goodness.
of got his life back on track. But sometimes just saying, like you said, it didn't hurt my day none. And you know
No.
what? I have children. There's children that play in that neighborhood. And shout out to him for knowing that he didn't want to drive, and he came over
Good.
and asked. And that had to have been hard for him because I only met him once. But, I'm a cool cat. So maybe that's why he came over. Yeah.
He
Uh,
just want to come and hang with you.
I wasn't, being, I wasn't standoffish or anything. I said, yeah, sure. No problem. We sat outside and I learned something about professional sports I didn't know about, boxing. And, it was just, to me, it was just, it was kind of, humbling to have that trust. And,
Yes.
the neighbor lives 2 streets down from me. She had her dad living with her. Now, he was a Vietnam veteran and he had dementia. And then one time he had gotten
Hmm.
out of the house and was kind of roaming around, and I had stopped and helped him and took him back to his home, and visiting with him. And you could tell that he wasn't, quite understanding where he was at. But I mean, he'd hold a conversation with you, but just not in this year or this time frame.
Right.
But
Right.
that's okay. And I just took the time to take him back home because, that's just what you do, right? You just try to help people as much as you can, and try to make their life a little bit better. And you don't have to be in the military. PTSD can affect anybody, but just giving
That's
back that
true.
little bit of time, because it really, in the end run, what's 30 minutes, what's an hour in
Not
the grand
not
scheme of things?
much.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I agree. It really doesn't take that much. It took more time to drive over there, but that's okay
Yeah.
because it'll come back to you. It really does. It comes back in twice as good. And that feeling that you get, and you get to learn. He's so proud of his short career. He did 4 years, but he had the pictures. He wanted to show me
Oh,
his family, and it's just taking that time, really. And you like I said, you wouldn't know he was going through a hard time because put a smile on his face. He's dressed well and
hmm
seemed okay, but I know he's really going through a hard time. And it just means a lot to me to reach out to people like that. And it doesn't hurt anything to do it. It really
yeah.
doesn't.
So with your company LG2, do you guys just do home renovations? Do you guys build decks? Do you do uh,
Right.
landscape, anything like that, or pretty much just any general contracting type work on a house?
Right. We can do, like I said, my husband has a very good past with being a general contractor.
Hmm.
So we decided to go the handyman route. So we're not
Yes,
exactly
good handyman are hard to find, to be honest.
right. And the lines, like I said, it's out the door. We're already 3 to 4 weeks out. We've only been in business for about 2 months now,
Oh wow,
and
nice.
so we're booking out 3 to 4 weeks out. But like I said, teaming up with certain groups, we can be their subs. We can do everything from putting grab bars in the bathroom to transition your tub into a shower, putting the ramps down, making it safe. Some people, their flooring has been tore up, ripped up, and now they have mobility issues. So
Yeah,
that's just waiting for something bad to happen.
yeah,
So things like that. Transition strips, you've got to take them out if you're in a wheelchair. So things like that we're focused on, but we also do renovations. We do everything else, but we try to focus our main focus is, yes, can we go out and get those big jobs and go for it? Yes, we can. But we want to kind of keep it to the veteran and the elder
Yeah.
care. We want to age in place with dignity and age in place with safety. So
Yeah.
that's kind of our goal in life, is to reinvent ourselves as well, and try to become a resource, So say they may not need anything done to their homes, but they're looking at, I just lost my spouse, but he's the veteran. I don't know how to handle losing, how to get my benefits, how do
Yeah.
I take care of anything. So with that being said, I just lost my father-in-law a few days ago, and
Sorry to hear that.
thank you, and he is the one that he's the one that kind of motivated me to do what we're doing. He had gone through mobility. He's a 32-year retired Master Chief, and he had a lot of mobility issues, and so we started working with him on trying to fix his home, get his resources, get his disability. Back in those days, they didn't even
No, they didn't. No.
apply for benefits. So
No.
we were able to do so much for him, and I'm so grateful we had the opportunity to do that, including getting his car, a car lift for his wheelchair, getting the ramps installed through the VA, getting him set up to live the best life that he could live.
Yeah.
And so he's the reason that we are going to push forward, and we're going to do everything we can. And like I said, getting his benefits, figuring out how to get him interned at the National Cemetery, how to stop his disability, how to stop his retirement pay. None of those things those spouses know, because they weren't in the military, and they're just my mother-in-law, and she's military as well. She's retired, a chief. She's retired chief as well. And she's kind of like, okay, I gave her a checklist of things that she needed to get done. And she's so appreciative, because it's so much to get done and get prepared for the funeral that's coming up this Saturday. But just getting all those ducks in a row is important. So we want to kind of be able to say, hey, you can call me. I'll give you the best information I have, or I will find the information for you. And we can be a community resource as
Yeah.
well.
Well, thoughts and prayers to your family as Saturday rolls around, and I guess
Thank you.
the best advice that I always give people is always remember the best of times, and don't
Yes.
focus so much on the end of times. I know with my father, of course, he died 4 years ago now,
Mm,
brain cancer, but his last 6 months were not the best,
right.
and so I always try to focus on the better times. And of course, during that time frame, I allowed my children to speak to him. But when he got real bad, I didn't want him to go and see him, because I wanted
Hmm.
to remember their grandfather, as grandfather and not as sick grandfather.
I
And so
know.
that was a choice that I made. But I think it was the right choice because they were young then.
Yeah.
And that's so very important. But it doesn't make it any easier. So
No, it's
thoughts and prayers out to your family. But you bring up a good point. A lot of these Vietnam veterans never filed for the VA benefits. I know my neighbor who I was speaking about earlier.
mm-hmm.
She asked me if I could help, and I
Mm-hmm.
got her in touch with the VSO. Sadly, he passed away before they could complete the process, and so his wife
Wow.
missed out on so much. He had some cancer and some other issues from Agent Orange, and
Yes.
so many of those Vietnam veterans out there don't never apply for the benefits. And so if you have a Vietnam veteran that you're associated with or you talk with, ask them, and if they have done it for the benefits. If they haven't, help them out. I mean, there's, VFW will help out with that. Of course, every
Mm-hmm.
state has a VSO, and try to help them get those benefits because it is something they're entitled to. A friend of mine, this is back in Missouri, he helped a Vietnam veteran. The veteran actually filed for his benefits when he left Vietnam, but never got them. And he went back
Wow.
30 years later, and they back paid him 30 years.
That's
Because he had
amazing.
filed it. And the VA had made a mistake, but he had proof that he had filed it. So
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
amazing. But then you also have to be really careful because there's a lot of scammers out there as well,
Yes.
and they're taking a huge percentage of the back pay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, again, good resources out there. You should not have to pay to file
Correct.
for your benefits.
Correct.
So please
Correct.
don't do that.
Yes.
Don't get frustrated with the system. I'm not saying the system's perfect either, and I'm not saying they're fast. We are not fast in the government,
No.
but
Nothing's
do
fast.
not pay for it. Nothing is fast. It's slow and go, slow or no go.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it is frustrating. I know my older brother, he spent 20 years in the Guard, and it wasn't when his wife passed away of cancer last year. But it wasn't 3 years ago when I finally got him to sit down and fill out his VA paperwork.
wow.
And then the VA came back and said, "Now my brother's got some PTSD issues. That came out later, but they gave him a rating of 0, and he just gave up." I'm like, "Chris, no, you can't give up. I mean, that's wrong." And so now he went back and of course, what people don't realize is that if you go through the website, right, and you do online by yourself and upload your medical records, if the VA comes back and says, "No, we're not going to give you a rating that you think you deserve," and then you go get a VSO, the VSO can't go back to what you filed unless you find something new with it. And a lot of people don't know that. And so it's very important to have that VSO to help you if you can, or an organization, because then they can go back and they have ways to argue to get that rating higher. Now, for my brother, he wound up having to hire an attorney, a local attorney that he knew, and then they had to go through that process. But he did get back his rating. I think it's at 70 or 80% now. And so and they, paid him some back pay and stuff. But so it's very important. I don't know why they do that, and it's frustrating. Now, I didn't have any issues when I went through my VA stuff when I retired, but I think that was because now on active duty, you have to have your rating before you actually get your retirement papers. And that's a big change for the active duty members. But if like my brother, it's been 20, well, he's been retired for 10 years before he went and filed. And so it makes a little bit, now he had all of his medical records, which help. But it is important to do that and stick with it. And if you've got a rating that's lower than what you think it is, by all means, go and argue and fight with them. You can do that on yourself too. I mean, you don't have to hire somebody. You can argue with them on yourself.
Yes,
and a lot of
you
times
can do an appeal. You can
that's
do
what
an
the appeal
appeal.
process for. Yeah.
And it's just don't get frustrated. And a lot of people, they try that first time on their own through e-benefits, and then they walk away. They're frustrated. They go. Yeah, but the benefits it's not just about the financial, it's also about connecting with the VA to get the other benefits like mobility chairs, like getting those ramps and
Have a
things like that.
caregiver. You have to have a caregiver to
Yes.
get paid to caregiving. And there's a whole lot. And here's what my brother had a guff with this. Now I'm 100% permanent total. But I had to tell my brother, I said, "Look, he says, I'm not disabled. I can still do stuff." I said, "Chris, it's not like disabled like disabled. It's
Yeah.
different. This is
Yeah.
injuries that you sustained or injuries that may pop up when you retire." And I think for a lot of veterans out there, they look at that way. Look, I'm not disabled. I don't need to apply for this. I don't need this. But it's not that. It's to protect you and to give you something that the military, the day that you enlisted, they've already paid those benefits out. They already know what that figure is, and that figure goes into a coffer. So you're
That's
just
correct.
letting the government have your money back that they've already set aside 34 years ago when I joined the military.
That's correct. And we have to get out of that mindset. We have to not think that there's a lot of invisible injuries as well. And you don't have to have an amputated leg in order to be a disabled veteran. Most of us, we've been subject to different things, accidents, while in a military vehicle, different, the smoke pits are a big thing now. We didn't know back then. We were burning it up like nobody's business. But now,
I'm on of course, I was at Pentagon 9/11. I'm on that registry there because, Lord knows what I breathed in during that. And of course, the burn pits. Of course, I was in Iraq 06, 08. And, you get those weird infections while you're over there and stuff. And so, you just never know what's going to creep up as you get older. So it's important to file for your benefits and get those benefits because, and plus that little extra money helps. I mean, a lot of
It
states out
does.
there, if you're 100% permanent total, a lot of states you don't pay property tax. You
That's a
don't
big
pay
one.
personal tax. I mean, for me in
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, it saves like $13,000 a year in our house.
That's
Uh,
right.
and I think it's very important to do that because even if you're not 100%, some states have benefits starting at 50% disabled, 70, 80, 90. And so there are different levels of every state's different, every commonwealth's different.
That's
But
right.
there's other benefits that you're missing out on too, and not to mention your VA check is tax free.
That's
You don't
right.
pay
Your
taxes on it.
disability, you do
You
not
don't get
pay
a W two,
taxes.
nothing on the end of your from nothing.
No.
And so that's a little extra money in your pocket too.
Yeah, I mean, it really is worth the effort to just try again. I can tell the first thing every time I meet a veteran, I said, I know I'm trying to be nosy here, but did you file your disability? That's my first
Mhm.
question. Now, when you served, how long you served, just did you file your disability?
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with it
yeah,
because it is part, like you said earlier, it is part of that package. When you raise your hand, we didn't make a lot of money while we were in, I'll tell you
no,
that much. We were just barely getting by, and that is part of our package, is our entitlements, our benefits,
hmm
our medical, and also once you're affiliated and you do get your disability, now you have the VA as an option for your medical care.
yeah,
So if once you're affiliated with the VA, say you had an emergency and you had to go to the ER, you had an ambulance ride to the ER, you let the VA know within 3 days, 72 hours, and it's off the table. You do not have to worry about payments for that.
yeah.
It's gone. My father-in-law had to do that while he was here. He took a really bad fall, and we had to get
hmm
the ER folks out here. We've called it 72 hours and it cleared. He did not have to, and he was never 100%, but he
Yeah,
did get all these benefits. So it's
yeah,
so important, um, that I can't stress that enough. I beat that drum every day. It's so
yeah.
important for you guys to take care of
Well, it's like
yourselves.
it's like getting your burial certificate. I have my certificate for Arlington Cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's all taken care of. Don't have to worry about that. And so it is important. Of course, my brother was able to get that for himself and for his wife. So when his wife passed away, she got her headstone from the VA.
Mm-hmm.
Is on her grave, and then when he passes, he'll be, I think they want to be buried together or something, but then
Together.
he'll be added, to that tombstone. So, that's something a lot of people don't understand, and it's just so nice just to have that.
It is. It's one less stress, one less expense, and I have to say, out of everything I've done, this working at the VA cemetery it was emotional, but it was
Mhm.
also very rewarding because we took care of everything. They called in, we got their DD 214 certificate of death, we put them in the system, and they were always very surprised how efficient it was. We did military honors there. It was just a nice way to say goodbye to their loved ones.
Yeah.
So it's a huge benefit that a lot of people don't know that they have.
Yeah. Well, and if you're listening out there, and hey, if you've done your benefits or if you didn't get the rating you wanted, please go back and refile it. I mean, what else do you got to do?
Please.
And if anything else, do it for your family. But
Very
hey,
true.
Lisa, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We were talking early on, and so I'm going to switch gears here for a second. But hey, check out our website, LG2. If you're in the Jacksonville area, they'd be more than happy to go and help you with renovations to your house. Or if you need to get handbars in the bathroom or slight modifications for that for a disability or something, hey, give them a shout out, get him a look, and also check out Operation Lifeline and also Builder's Care. But it's funny. I was eating at a restaurant in Herndon. I like that Ishins, which is a fusion restaurant, and they gave this little paper when you eat. It says dinner table gossip. So we're going to
Oh,
end
I
the show with
love
a
some
couple.
gossip.
Yeah, we're going to end the show with a couple of questions. So since Lynn isn't here, you get to be the questionee. So here we go. All right.
Okay.
So this is the one I thought was kind of interesting. Um, if you could hang out with a celebrity for a day, who would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh my gosh. Um, Well, she wasn't a celebrity.
Or just somebody
Jane.
famous or somebody,
Okay, yep, Jane Goodall.
Oh,
Even though we just lost her, right?
yeah.
Just the life that she lived and the love for her animals.
What
I do
interesting
share
story
that.
she's got to have being in the jungle with the chimpanzees, right? That's
Oh
never so,
my gosh.
right? Yeah,
Just
right.
just amazing. Just her life. She lived almost an entire century also, and just her experiences and everything she's seen and done. So yeah, that would be my person.
I'm gonna kind of geek out here, but I would have to want to spend time with Elon Musk. I think what this man has done uh, with not only with SpaceX and of course with Tesla and all those things,
Hmm.
I would love to sit down and spend about 20 minutes with him,
Pick his
just
brain
to
a little.
pick his brain a little bit. Well, I mean, here's a gentleman with autism, and look at what he's able to achieve and able to do. And so that would be who I wanted to. Okay, here's the next one. If you could teleport anywhere, where would you go?
Egypt.
Ah, I was in Egypt in November last year. Loved it.
Oh, that's my next adventure is to
Have you been?
Egypt. No, but
So let me tell you.
everyone I meet has gone except me.
So
What?
can I give you some tips? The best time to go to Egypt is right around Thanksgiving time or after Thanksgiving because it's the
Why?
beginning of the tourist season. It's
Uh-huh.
not too hot and not so crazy busy.
Oh,
And then my next piece of advice is don't drive.
don't okay.
Go fly, and another piece is don't get your visa before you go because when
Why?
you land in Egypt, you can buy
Uh-huh.
the visa right there, and then they stamp it, and it's a
Oh.
quarter of the cost.
Oh, that's really good. I have a quick question.
Yeah,
So, is there a McDonald's by the pyramids? Is that a true story or not?
I didn't see one. No,
Thank goodness.
there's
I was
nothing
so
around. There's
disappointed.
nothing around the pyramids proper. They did build a new museum there. It's
Mm-hmm.
open. It's a very amazing museum. But around the pyramids, there's nothing around the pyramids. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't remember. No, there's nothing around the pyramids. No.
Oh, thank goodness. I
Yeah.
was so disappointed when I heard that. Somebody had put out that they started building a McDonald's there. I was like, no
I
way,
was just
not
there
today.
last year in November, so I didn't see no
Okay.
McDonald's around. I
Okay,
didn't
thank
remember seeing a
goodness.
McDonald's in Egypt when I was there. We stayed in Cairo. We stayed at the Ramses Hilton there in Cairo, and it was nice. We just landed. They picked us up. They took us to the
Mm-hmm.
hotel. Very nice hotel, the Ramses Hilton, and we just went down to the concierge. We made no plans. We just got on the plane and went to the concierge. He set up a driver, a translator, and every day we took trips. And it wasn't very. It was relatively cheap actually. So one day we went to the old
Mm-hmm.
museum. The next day we went to the pyramids and toured the pyramids and
Mm-hmm.
actually went inside the big pyramid. You can pay extra money and go inside of it to the king's tomb there. Of course, he's not there, but very claustrophobic. November's a good time to go because it's very hot up there. But that was an amazing trip, and it was interesting because my son, even though my wife's mixed race, my son is blonde hair, blue eyes, and of course, and there happened to be a big group of kids there. The pyramids were over there, and so they kept wanting to talk with him because he was different. And
Right.
so the translator said, "Look, to them it's an honor because they come from the countryside." And so
Mm-hmm.
once we said it was okay for them to take a photo with my son, oh, Pandora's box open. You thought he was a rock star. And I mean, I'm not talking about 10, 15 kids. I'm talking about hundreds of kids were coming up to him and everything. So finally we just had to kind of go away from that because it became too much. But
Too
I mean, he had
much,
a lot
yeah.
of fun. But they're very kind, very nice. But one thing about Egypt that I say don't drive while you're over there is they drive by their horn.
Mm,
They're
okay.
constantly honking their horn, but that's because the horn beat tells them which way they're going.
Really?
Yes, yes. That's why I tell
That's
people don't
interesting.
drive in Egypt, don't get a car. You're better off to have a
Taking a
translator and a
taxi.
driver, and most hotels set that up for you. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
Ramsey's at the Hilton. We could see the pyramids from our room.
Oh,
They
that's
had great
awesome.
restaurants there inside
Mm-hmm.
the hotel, so we didn't have to go outside to eat. I mean, you could, but we didn't have to. We took a riverboat cruise, dinner on the Nile. They set all this up for us. We didn't have to. We didn't have to think anything. We were there for 4 days. It was great.
Wow, that only 4 days,
Yeah, yeah,
but you got a lot done.
yeah. Every day we did something different.
Yeah, that's
Now,
cool.
if
I
you want
like
to go
it.
see Valley of the Kings, that's
Mm-hmm.
a longer tour where you have to take either a boat ride down the Nile River to there, or fly in down to there. So that's completely different. But if you just want to go see the pyramids, you can do it in about 4 days, 5 days.
That's amazing. I love
Sorry. And see everything. So, but hey, that was fun. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
We're going to have to find out what's going on with Lynn, make sure she's okay, but we'll reach out to her after the show. I'm losing my voice. Hang on a second. But hey, if you're in the Jacksonville area and need some work done on your house, hey, please look at LG2. They'd be more than happy to help you out. I shared their link to their website on the chat. So give them a click-see and give them a looky-see. But hey, along with that, you got Wreaths Across America. You scan that QR code to make sure to memorialize the veterans that have gone on during the holiday season. Super easy to find, just like I said in the beginning of the show. For $10, $15, you pay a little bit more. You can actually have it personalized if you want. Go ahead and scan that QR code and get that taken care of. Like I said earlier on the show, I'm with Arlington Cemetery still. However, they do it all across the United States. So if they oversell Arlington, then they help other cemeteries that have undersold. So it's a very important program. And like I said, Wreaths Across America Radio, yes, radio, replays my podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the TuneIn app, the Audacy app, and the iTunes app, and then the iHeartRadio app. Sorry, my brain's starting to scramble. I'm getting tired. And search for not only this great podcast, but other great podcasts and radio shows. And I don't know if I'll sip bourbon tonight. I can't promise you that I won't. But hey, if I do decide, it will be with 10th Mountain Bourbon. So we shared that website and give them a look-see. And I guarantee you, the cordial they have is vanilla sage something. It's very good. It's like flavors you would never think they would mix together that would taste good, but it's really good. It actually really is. And just like the video before for Veterans Mortgage powered by Canopy Mortgage, scan that QR code. The interest rates are coming down. They might be able to help you out with any questions or concerns you may have with your mortgage, or maybe want to refinance, or maybe if you're in Jacksonville area and you have to do some modifications to your home, Veterans Mortgage might help you out, and then give old LG2 a call, and they'll come over and get you fixed right up. But hey, and also if you're PCS, seeing PCS Paradise there in Hawaii, we'd be more than happy to help you find that dream home while you're there for 3 years, and why not? Go to Hawaii, live on the beach, enjoy it for 3 years, and so what if you don't have that much extra money? It'll be all right, and just enjoy it for the time you're there. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. Because there's too many people that got stationed here in Italy that didn't travel as much, and they hate it, and they go back to the States. Oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. Well, you know what? I'm not going to be that person. We travel a lot while I'm here in Italy, and I'm going to continue to travel a lot here in Italy because life's too short. But hey, listen up. As we said earlier on, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Hey, Lisa, stay on when we get done. But hey, let's look out for each other. If you had that friend or buddy that kind of went quiet, we are our brothers and sisters keeper out there. So let's just have not only just say hi, how you doing? Have a follow-up question and see what's really going on in their life. Just like Lisa said earlier on, it just takes a minute to visit with somebody, and you can change your whole perspective. But hey, you guys have a great week. I'm not too sure what's going to go on next week, but I'll send a promo out. You guys take care, and I'm going to go to bed here in a little bit.
Nighty-night to you.
Yeah, that's right.